the AFT, because we struck in 2006, and the AFT had no problem putting our pictures on the pages of its newspaper because they know that's what inspires the members. Nationally is one of the leading parts of the AFT, and yet our current tremendous payback to the AFT. It's just ridiculous. There is a militancy fund within the AFT Constitution for we have to pay back to the point where it's hurting our union is just wrong. So I fault both the current executive board for that and the old executive boards for getting us involved in this ridiculous debt to DPS.
And with that policy that Steve referred to existed long before any of us got there. I mean, this goes back to Barry Ellen Reardon at a time when it was out. So DFT at one time had to go out and actually recruit members to join us. So therefore, it was difficult for us to establish any type of financial foundation at that time. The other part to it is that, and this is the part that simply must be told, administration contributed to the rug being pulled from under us by giving information to President Womack when he was president of the school board about what we were doing in negotiations. You know, and that's simply a matter of fact. The other part that I certainly agree with is that DFT paid our per caps to AFT and AFT Michigan without question. I mean, we were timely on it and never really had to utilize the services of AFT. So in my mind, it was unconscionable after all that for them to demand and threaten us with legal action if we did not repay a loan that is based upon the dues that we pay to them, back to them. And I do have a plan to address that if I am fortunate enough to be elected president.
Can I ask another question?
Go ahead.
I'm
confused. What's your, Mr. Johnson, what is your current position?
I'm currently a teacher at Finney High School. I was director of DFT, and prior to that, I was labor relations administrator at DFT. I spent 14 years in the union office. But when Virginia became president, and let me remind you that Virginia and I worked together for 12 years. I trained Virginia when she came to the union office. Oftentimes it was Virginia and I that had, because we may have had philosophical differences on an issue. But when she became president, Virginia fired me as director of operations without just cause or establishment of due process. And these were her words, not mine. She told me that her executive board told her if she did not get rid of me, that they would initiate a recall against her. Bear in mind, they were known as Educators for Change. When they brought Virginia in, because of Virginia's popularity, and she is immensely popular, they changed it to Caucus for Cantrell. So they wrote in on her name. But that fact notwithstanding, if you did not believe that getting rid of me was in the best interest of the union, then what you as president should have told them, because I wasn't beholden to the executive board, I was only beholden to the president. You should have told them, if I'm going to keep Key, and if you want to get rid of me, you want to initiate a recall, roll the dice and take your chances. That's what a leader does. That's the type of tough decision that a leader makes.
I'm a teacher. I'd like to answer my background. I'm a teacher.
You didn't ask me.
I thought we're traded, so that somebody asked.
I'm just kidding.
That's okay. Teacher at Cass Tech, building rep there for about 18 of the 20 years I spent at Cass Tech. The school board has put me on, what was it called, administrative leave for my part in protesting the school closings in 2007. Those are the largest school closings in United States history. We were part of a lawsuit against those school closings. We got the union to endorse being against the school closings, and we were part of several protests organized by parents and students and community and civil rights organizations against those school closings. For that, the board put me on administrative leave. I sued the board in the Michigan Employment Relations Commission and won a complete victory in June of, it was issued in June of 2008. The board ignored that decision and voted by split vote to fire me. And when I say myself, it's also my wife, Heather Miller, who's also an activist and a candidate on the Unity and Progress slate. We went to United States Federal Court to enforce the Merck decision, and Friday, the federal judge at the United States Federal District Court in downtown Detroit issued an order that we be returned to work immediately, completely vindicating us as we knew we would from the start. This was nothing but, in the words, I believe, of the state judge, a politically motivated vendetta against us for our political activism. That's all it was, all it will be. And we are to be returned to work now to our specific jobs, mine being in Cass Tech. And I've been a candidate before for president of the DFT. I really urge you to consider the options, all the options in this election.
So what exactly is the job of the president? So what are the chief responsibilities, the main responsibilities of the president?
Okay. I think the chief job of the president is to win for the members the gains we need, and that's compensation and, above all, class size, but also books and supplies, getting the buildings clean and modernized, and we sure need modernization, because these buildings, even the ones that are relatively clean, are old. Basically, the strategy is this. This is an issue of strong unionism, but also strong civil rights. We have terrible inequality in this country. Metropolitan Detroit is the most racially segregated area of the country, or one of the leading two, one of the worst two, fighting for that, fighting for equality for our young people. And we have a tremendous opportunity here to unite with the community, the parents, the students, everyone who wants change. Change is so needed, and people feel now, and it's so clear in the national elections, people want change. They're fed up with the years of retreat and concessions and takebacks, and their living standards declining and their rights being attacked. They want change. What better chance for a president of a teachers union to say, let's work together, let's fight together on picket lines, at rallies, at public forums, at public speak-outs about the kinds of changes we need in education now. Equality, integration, providing improved quality public schools. That's the key to our future. There is no city that can function without quality public schools. It has no future. No city has a future. And without a city such as Detroit, the entire metropolitan area will sink. Without the metropolitan area, the entire state. We hold the cards. As long as we unite with our students and the parents in action and fight for equal rights and fight for justice, we are going to win. We are going to win big.
I differ a little with colleague here, because at the end of the day, we're all DFT. The primary responsibility of the president of the DFT is to serve as the chief negotiator, policeman, and enforcer of your collective bargaining agreement. That's your primary responsibility, to represent the interests of the members that you serve. This also includes making sure that you have a presence and a voice in all matters that are relative to the education of the children within your community. However, it is not limited to that. Certainly, when there are social issues that directly or indirectly affect your ability to teach and your children's ability to learn, then as a union leader who is in education, you should certainly be on the forefront of those discussions. But you cannot lose sight of the fact that at the end of the day, the people who you are directly responsible for, who elect you into that office, and this includes those who don't necessarily vote for you. If they are part of your membership, your charge is to answer their issues. You do extend yourself into issues that impact the community.